The Raiders have just have fired Antonio Pierce, but now we are back in episode number 8 of the Raiders podcast, breaking down head coaching candidates for the Raiders heading into 2025. The head coaching candidates. It's really gonna start getting big, man, for the Raiders because now that it is the off season, now that the Raiders did fire Antonio Pierce yesterday, the Raiders now in a search for a head coach. The head coaching search officially begins for the Raiders now. The head coaching search officially begins for the Raiders, and it's going to start right here, right now. Hey, man, I'm going to give you guys my head coaching candidates for the Raiders for 2025, man. After the firing of head coach Antonio Pierce, former head coach of the Las Vegas. I'm going to turn this light off, not going to lie. It's bright. It's in my face. Whew, man. That light was all up in my face, man. Turn it off now, though. But yeah, man, I got y'all my head coaching candidate. I'm turning the lamp on. My head coaching candidates for the Raiders in 2025. Now we're going to start off with the first one now. By the way, before we get on to my head coaching candidates, I want to let you know, I'm going to be doing... right after the Super Bowl, I'm going to be starting a mock drafts for the Raiders. I'm going to be doing 4 mock drafts. I'm going to be doing one right after the Super Bowl, my second one right before free agency, my third one right after free agency is over, and then my fourth one will be before the draft starts, like a day or two before the draft starts. So yeah, man, I'm going to start doing mock drafts for the Raiders, man, so... get ready for some mock drafts to come on the YouTube channel. But we're gonna start. We're gonna start talking about the Raiders and their head coaching candidates now. So number 1 for the head coaching candidate carousel, the head coaching carousel, man. I mean, bro, it's been a head coaching carousel for the Las Vegas Raiders in the last. Maybe about 4 or 5 years, bro. Bro, think about it, bro. John Gruden resigned in 2021. We had Josh McDaniels fired last year in 2023 when McDaniels was fired. And then now this year, Antonio Pierce is now gone. So, I mean, we've gone through a head coaching carousel. But I'm not really surprised. It's the Raiders. It's just what they do, man. Where we go through multiple head coaches, but the one main message I want to get across, Mark Davis, please, bro, please do not mess this up, bro, because we need a good head coach. That's like the number one thing we need right now. The number one thing we need right now is a really good head coach. So, because I'm sick and tired of this, bro. Every single year, we always have. Our coaching is always now never good. We always have bad coaching, bad coaches in general. So having a good coach this year would really, really help. But starting off, number 1 on the list for head coaching candidates. Starting off, number 1 is none other than Mike Vrabel, who was a former coach of the Tennessee Titans. He was the coach from the Tennessee Titans. I forget when he started coaching the Tennessee Titans. I forget, I'm not going to lie. So someone got to remind me down below in the comment section. But yes, Mike Vrabel is number 1 on the list for head coaching candidates for the Raiders. Now, what was the head coaching candidate for the Raiders? This is a very, no Raider fans really surprised about this one. We all know that Mike Vrabel is definitely one of the biggest likelihoods to be the Raiders head coach in 2025. Now, for the past 2 months, it's been that way, but Mike Vrabel we are going to be contending with the Patriots to try to get Mike Vrabel, because obviously, if you remember, they fired Gerard Mayo right after Sunday's game, and now the Patriots are in a head coach search as well, and they are probably targeting Mike Vrabel as well, because Mike Vrabel said he doesn't want to have kind of what we call a complicated situation, you know. maybe kind of with the Raiders kind of situation, because the Raiders are not in a really good situation right now. I'm going to be honest, they are not in a good situation. I mean, those 2 wins definitely made the situation worse. Even if we wouldn't have won those 2 games and finished 2-15, we still would have been in a bad situation regardless. But so Mike Vrabel, the main 2 things he wants is a lot of cap space and a quarterback. Raiders do have a lot of cap space. The number 1, guess what? So the number 1 team, the team that has the most money in the NFL is the New England Patriots. But number 2 is the Raiders. So those are the 2 teams who have the most money in the NFL right now at the current moment as I'm recording this video. So, with the Raiders, man, with Mike Vrabel, they are competing with the Patriots to try to get Mike Vrabel. Yes, they are. They will be competing with the Patriots for Mike Vrabel with the job. Mike Vrabel, they will be competing with him for the job, bro, because, dude, I mean, Mike Vrabel, come on, man, Mike Vrabel. There are several reasons why you would want Mike Vrabel as your head coach. Number 1, he won Coach of the Year in 2021. He literally won Head Coach of the Year in 2021. And I think that year the Titans won, 12-5, made the playoffs as the number 1 seed. They were like 12-5, something like that. They made the playoffs. They were the number 1 seed. And unfortunately for the Titans, they got bounced out the first round of the playoffs that year too, because they got the number 1 seed, got bounced out round 1. But my point is also not only that, the Coach of the Year, there's also more things. He outcoached Bill Belichick when the Patriots roster was maybe 2 times better than the Titans roster, and he outcoached Bill Belichick in the playoffs, 2019-2020 season, when they made the playoffs again that year. That Titans team, 2019-2020 Titans team, they had no business making the playoffs that year. But guess what? They still made it. You know why? Because Mike Vrabel is a good head coach. He's a good head coach. The fact the Titans fired him, too, is crazy. Because they fired him, too, after last season. I don't know. In my opinion, I didn't really like that move by the Titans, bro. Because, the Titans fired a good head coach. They fired a good head coach, bro. The fuck? Oh, it was just my smell goods. What I call smell goods here in the basement. Hold on, let me show you guys this, bro. Basically, you put water in it, and it makes like the room smell good, if you know what I mean. Like, it makes the room smell really good. But back to what I was saying about the Raiders. Yes, Mike Vrabel. That team had no business making the playoffs back that year, but they did because Mike Vrabel is a good head coach, and the fact they fired him after the end of last year, 2023, I was shocked. I was really shocked about that, man. And even after when they fired him last year, there were rumors about the Raiders targeting Mike Vrabel even after last year with Antonio Pierce still as the interim head coach, and the Raiders had to make some moves, and they had to make some moves within some time, man. And after overthinking about it for about a week and a half, 2 weeks after the season ended last year, the Raiders eventually decided to hire Antonio Pierce as the full-time guy as the head coach. And obviously, unfortunately, that didn't work out. I was really hoping it would be able to work out. I was actually really upset. I was actually upset that it didn't work out, because I was really hoping that it would be able to work out, but at the same time, it was the right move. Firing Antonio Pierce, unfortunately, I'm saying it was the right move, because Antonio Pierce, unfortunately, he's proved many times that he was just in over his head. His clock management wasn't really good. He called timeouts the most random times, and a lot of the players on our team were injured a lot of the time during the season, so we really didn't get to see the full potential this team could possibly have had with the injuries, depleted injuries. We lost Davante Adams, obviously, earlier in the season. I mean, this season was just, it was rough. It was bad. So, unfortunately, I was really hoping it would be able to work out. Unfortunately, though, it didn't, and Antonio Pierce got fired 2 days after the season ends. And I'm not gonna lie, I think Mark Davis low-key did Antonio Pierce a little bit dirty, because the fact that he made Antonio Pierce do that Monday press conference, he did Antonio Pierce dirty. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. He did him dirty. He did him dirty. And the fact that he even made him do that press conference, that Monday after, like the Monday end of season press conference, like it's low key insane. I don't really like that move by Mark Davis. If you had a plan on firing Antonio Pierce, you should have just fired him that morning or that night after the Chargers game, or I don't know. But I don't know. That's just what Mark Davis did. I don't know the way Mark Davis operates. I kind of question it sometimes, but the one thing I want Mark Davis, do not mess up the code. Please, I'm begging. I'm literally begging, bro. Please do not mess this up. Please, bro. Because the last thing we need right now is the Raiders. The last thing we need is to hire a head coach that will get fired after a year or two. That's the last thing we need as Raiders fans right now. That's the last thing we need. But, yeah, man. So I mean, pretty much like right after the fact, Antonio Pierce fired. Now we're looking at present day, January 8th, and now we're at a head coaching search once again for the third time within a span of 3-4 years, and the third time in 4 years. Raiders are in yet another head coaching search once again. Yep, it's happening again. It sucks, right? It's all right then, man. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. It's happened. It's happened. It happens. Every team goes through points like this, though. Every team goes through lows the way that the Raiders, but it seems like the Raiders have just gone through countless lows. Hold on, get my drink here, but it seems like the Raiders have just gone through countless lows at this point. I mean, and just be honest, bro. That's just what it seems like at this point. It's what it seems like, bro. But one of the candidates that I think could fix those lows, Mike Vrabel, I think is one of the coaches on this list, former coaches, that could fix the trajectory of this team. Okay, moving on. Hold on, there's one more thing I want to say about Mike Vrabel. And it's that, bro, hold on. One more thing I want to say about Mike Vrabel before I move on to my next head coach is, bro, Mike Vrabel, bro, he went to the AFC Championship that year with that team that, if I said earlier in the video, I had no business making the playoffs. He literally he took that team to the AFC Championship, and at one point we're up double digits against the Chiefs. Against the freaking Chiefs of all teams, bro. They were up double digits in that game. Unfortunately for the Titans, they let it kind of slip away, and the Chiefs ended up winning that game. I think it was 42-24. Something like that was the final score. But at one point it was 17-7. It was 10-0, and then at one point it was 17-7 in that game. But unfortunately, I don't know what happened. Like right after that 17-7 lead for the Titans, the Chiefs just started storming back and won that game rather easily. It's like they figured out the Titans that game or something. But yeah, man. Definitely that Mike Vrabel will definitely be one of the candidates on this list that could save the Raiders. All right, number 2 head coach on this list. Number 2 on this list is Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions. Ben Johnson. Now, Ben Johnson, he is an offensive-minded coach. That's one of the things that I want. The head coach I want for the Raiders, I want the head coach to be an offensive-minded coach because you can clearly tell we need offense right now. Because this defense is good. Like, if Patrick Graham comes back next year with this defense, we add more pieces. Christian Wilkins comes back, Malcolm Coots comes back, Max Crosby. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, once the pieces start flowing together, I mean, this defense, if Patrick Graham comes back, like, this defense, I'm not joking, it's going to be like top 10, top 5 in the league. With Patrick Graham as defensive coordinator, which I don't know if he's coming back. That's another thing Raiders got to solve. I don't know if Patrick Graham comes back next season. I don't know for sure if he's going to come back, whether he will or he won't. But, dude, bro. I mean, the way that would work with, Ben Johnson is, he would be the offensive minded coach, and I think any organization that would get Ben Johnson, that would have the opportunity to get Ben Johnson as their head coach, would be a very happy organization. Mike Vrabel or Ben Johnson, I would not be mad at either one of those hires. Ben Johnson, obviously an offensive minded coach. You pretty much already, I don't even really have to explain a whole lot about Ben Johnson, because a lot of y'all already know, bro. He did wonders in Detroit for the Lions. He's been doing amazing things down there in Detroit with the Dan Campbell coaching tree down there in Detroit, and bringing that kind of type of style to the Raiders is something I would love. I would absolutely love to bring kind of that playoff history back for the Raiders, man. But yes, Ben Johnson though. I like his creativiness on the offensive side of the football with calling plays. I really like I said, I really like his creativity, bro. His creativity is something that would never go unnoticed for sure, man. His creativity when calling offensive plays, bro. Like you see all the offensive plays. You would have seen that play against the 49ers on Monday Night Football like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. Whenever they did that catch lateral touchdown, that catch lateral touchdown. I mean, Ben Johnson's done it all, bro, in Detroit. I forget how long he's been at Detroit as the offensive coordinator. I forget how long, to be honest, but however long he's been doing it, bro, he's really proven himself to be a 100% coaching candidate in the NFL, and he had a chance to go out for a head coach candidate last year, but he rejected it. He actually chose to stay with the Lions. He chose to stay with the Lions and Dan Campbell, bro, because I think Ben Johnson wants to win a ring in Detroit. Same with Dan Campbell, bro. And down there in Detroit, bro, they want to win a Super Bowl, bro. And what better way than to do that, to try to win the Super Bowl down there in Detroit. Then with Ben Johnson as your OC, I mean real stuff, bro. Real talk, real stuff, bro. I mean, for real, Ben Johnson, dude, he's literally, like, his pedigree, like, he's living up to the pedigree in Detroit. I mean, he has. Like, you've seen all of the stuff that Ben Johnson's done in Detroit. So, I mean, there's a reason why Ben Johnson's on this list, and Ben Johnson, he's gonna continue to prove himself. I would imagine more and more. It depends on if he will take a coaching job this year or not. That's another guy the Patriots will be interviewing, I would imagine, as well. Ben Johnson. Majority of the people I have on this list, the Patriots will probably interview. I don't really know how many people I'm gonna have on this list, but I'm just kind of freestyling it right now. I'm not gonna lie, like people off the top of my head. So I don't really have an exact number of how many people I have on this list, but I do have more people on this list. So number 3 now, moving on to number 3 on the list, and it is Pete Carroll, former head coach of the Seattle Seahawks, who last year, I honestly forget exactly. Did Pete Carroll get fired, or did Pete Carroll just retire? I forget, to be honest. I forget if he got fired or retired. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think he retired. Correct me if I'm wrong. You guys are going to have to let me know down in the comments below whether or not he retired or he got fired, because I low-key forget. I'm not even going to lie to you. But yeah, man, Pete Carroll is number 3 on this list for head coaching candidates for the Las Vegas Raiders. And for good reason, once again, man, and that is because of the fact that Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll, bro. The energy he brought to Seattle for first time there in Seattle, the energy that he brought, just despite being how old he is. How old is he? He's in his 70s. He's in his 70s. I forget how old he is, but I know he's in his 70s, bro. Pete Carroll brings that energy, and having him as the Raiders head coach would definitely be something I would not have a problem with at all, man. The energy he brings, he's for the team. He's really for the team. Like, the way he goes, like, the way he coaches, like, he is for the team, bro. And I think Pete Carroll would kind of bring what you call that, like, kind of what Rich Bisaccia brought towards the end of 2021 when the Raiders made that crazy playoff run. Well, a run to the playoffs, even though they got bounced out first round that year. It was a round one exit. It was a one and done. But yeah, man. Pete Carroll, he had that first round he did them, and I mean he brings that energy to the team. Pete Carroll is a team player. He's a team coach. He's for the team. I mean his coaching decisions through the past have shown that he's a good head coach. He's a good head coach. He did really good for Seattle in that Legion of Boom defense with Russell Wilson. From however long Seattle had that defense back in the 2010s when they had that Legion of Boom defense. Seattle, I mean, Pete Carroll's done it all, man. His legacy has lived on for Seattle. Obviously, knowing how old he is, bro, the legacy is definitely lived on, bro. The legacy has lived on. It will likely continue to live on, man. However long Pete Carroll will likely continue his coaching career. I don't know if he will take the job with the Raiders, knowing the current state of the team, but these are other, like, suggestions to kind of look into and kind of think about more and more as time goes on. Definitely some very some decision making to be said, to be heard about as the time will go on, man. Time will tell about Pete Carroll. Now, number 4 on the list. Now, this one took me some thinking. This one definitely took me some time to think. I've been hearing people saying this, so I decided, although I don't really know if I would be okay with him, I want to be okay with him coaching the team. I would be, because he is more of a defensive head coach. He's actually the defensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs, Steve Spagnuolo. That is the 4th guy on this list, and the final guy on this list for head coaching candidates, because there's not really any. Those are like the 4 people I'd say I like the most to be the head coaches of the Raiders. Like from 1 to 4, those are probably the people I like the most of the potential to be the head coaches of the Las Vegas Raiders. But Steve Spagnuolo, although he is a defensive-minded coach, and the Raiders are looking for an offensive-minded coach, because that's what the Raiders need, bro. The Raiders need an offensive-minded coach. It's what we need, bro, because our offense the past two-ish years, pretty much ever since Josh McDaniels became a part of the team, and all the way up until he got fired, even after he got fired, like, our offense has just never been good. Like, ever since 2021, like, our offense has just not been good the past few years. It's just been bad. We haven't had a good offense. Our offense just can't move the ball down the field. I'm tired of watching Raiders games, seeing this offense never move the ball down the field, man. And I think the one way to change that is to get an offensive-minded coach. But if the Raiders did hire Steve Spagnuolo, I wouldn't hate it. I would not hate it at all. I really wouldn't hate it. Steve Spagnuolo, obviously, with the Kansas City Chiefs. He's won rings. He's improved Kansas City's defense. He's made Kansas City's defense one of the top defenses in the league. He's made Kansas City's defense look outstandingly amazing. He's made Kansas City's defense look like a top, or like one of the better defenses in the league, even right now. Like, He's been the Kansas City Chiefs defensive coordinator. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think he became the defensive coordinator for the Chiefs maybe 2017 or 2018. Correct me if I'm wrong. I forget. It might have been one of those 2 years. I don't really know. But I do remember watching like maybe 2019, 2020-ish time period, man. And whenever I was watching some Raiders-Chiefs games, man, I mean, the Raiders had so much trouble driving down the field up against the Chiefs, man. Except for 2020, though. 2020 was when our offense was the best Raiders offense I've seen maybe in a long time. The Raiders offense in 2020 was outstanding with the targets we had. We had a lot of speed on the ball, so we were able to throw the ball down the field a lot with Derek Carr at quarterback back then. Obviously, though, now it's a new year, 2025, so we don't really get to maybe see that all that often with the Raiders nowadays. But hopefully we can get back to that brand of football, that brand of offense that we were back again. Hopefully we can actually be a feared team for once, bro. Because we haven't been a feared team, like a team. Like, teams used to fear the Raiders. Teams used to fear the Raiders back in, like, the 90s, the early 2000s days. Like, teams used to fear the Raiders. Now the Raiders are just... nobody fears them, bro. Raiders is considered a sorry team, bro. A sorry team, man. Sorry fan base, but... well, not really fan base. I don't know why I said fan base. Because Raiders, I think, in my opinion, Raiders have some of the best fans in the league. I'm not even saying that to be biased either. On everything. I'm not even saying that to be biased. I feel like the Raiders literally, I think, have some of the best fans in the NFL. I mean, it's proven more and more. Like, the shit the Raider fans have to go through year in and year out, and like the year in and year out with this team proves that we're just some of the best fans in the league, in my opinion, man. But that's pretty much all I gotta say, man, about that video. Was my Raiders head coaching candidates for 2025. I'll see you guys on the next video. That's episode 8 of the Raiders podcast. See you guys later.